You don't like numbers and you cringe at the mention of interest rates, but you would like to be sure that your personal finances are in order. Today we'll be talking about the 7 basic things about personal finance that you need to know as a non-finance professional. Hello, my name is Ola and I'm your personal finance fitness blog. On this channel, I basically explain economics and finance in simple English, and it would be great if you could subscribe and hit the notification button so that you know immediately I have something new for you. Today, I'll be telling you 7 things you need to know as a non-finance professional to ensure that your personal finances are in order. But look out for number 2 and number 7 because they will actually shock you. You need to save. It sounds very cliche, it sounds very basic, but you need to save. You can't afford to spend all that you earn. So there are 2 basic reasons why you need to save. 1, you need to have an emergency fund. You need to be able to fall back on something if something goes wrong, because an emergency is just what it is. It's an unexpected event. So you need to be positioned to handle it. That's 1. And then 2, in order to invest, you need cash. So think about your mortgage. Even though your bank or mortgage house can give you a mortgage to a certain amount, they would always ask for equity contribution. And what is that? Cash. So you need to save. You can't afford to spend all that you earn. 2, this is going to shock you. You can't get wealthy by saving. Yes, I said it. You can't leave your money idle in the bank and expect that it will grow in value. Right? And why? Think about it objectively. 10 years ago, how much did it cost you to get a car? And how much does it cost you right now? Inflation has eaten into the value of your money. If you really left money in your account saying that this is money for a car, you'll probably be able to buy only a quarter of a car right now with that same money. Think about it, right? So I did this piece on why you can't leave your money in the bank. To pop up here, check it out. It really explains the fact that you cannot afford to leave your money in the bank. Like, there is no way your personal finances can be in order if all you are doing is piling up cash in the bank. You need to invest. 3, there is a very clear difference between investing and spending. Now, when you are investing, it means that you are releasing cash from your account with the expectation that it is going to come back to you with value. So when you are spending, you are releasing cash from your account for the immediate thrill. It is not bringing back any future value to you. And this is very important to be conscious of whenever you are releasing money from your account. Is this going to bring me back any value in the future, or does it just end here? If you realize that every debit from your account is actually going into spending and not into investing, then you need to get a grip on yourself. But you have to start, and you have to start now. 4, not all debts are equal. There is good debt and there is bad debt. Good debt is when you take a loan or you put something on your credit card that will bring future value to you. Invest. Good debt is taking a mortgage that is appropriately priced, right? It's going to give you some future value. But then bad debt is when you borrow to spend. I just explained the difference between investing and spending. So think about it. Am I borrowing to invest or am I borrowing to spend? Very, very important. Next thing you need to know is your net worth. What is your net worth? Your net worth is basically your total assets minus your total liabilities. Okay, yes, I'm going fancy. But basically, your assets are the things that are going to bring money to you in the future. If you own a property, if you have shares, if you have investments in safety deposit or whatever, any form of investment you have, put them under your assets. And then your liabilities, your credit card tabs, the loans that you have, the personal loans at work, everything that you have taken that you need to pay back to someone, that is your liability. The difference is your net worth. And it would be very great if you can actually do that calculation right now. Okay, list out your assets, list out your liabilities. Why this is important is that it tells you your financial status, right? So think about it. If you have 100 million, right, in assets, you have a house, and then you are owing someone 100 million, your net worth will be 0, even though you might see a lot around you. But it means that if anything goes wrong, if a wind blows that is not in your favor, you can actually go from that 100 million to 0 immediately. Do you understand? So your net worth is very, very important. It helps your consciousness. It helps your decision making. So you might be having the fine hair, you might be having the nice car and all that. But if you are running negative net worth, then we're just sitting on a keg of gunpowder. You need to be intentional about your finances, and knowing your net worth is key. It is very key, and you can see it's just addition and subtraction. It's not anything fancy, but it tells you where you stand today. 6. Compound interest. So I decided to do like a short simulation so you can really understand the compound interest thing as against just telling stories, right? So imagine if you had just 50k to save every month, right? After a year, you would have 50k times 12, which is 50k times 12. That gives you 600k, right? But imagine you do this for 10 years consistently. After 10 years, you would have 60k times, you have 600k times 10, which is 6 million. Now imagine if you are in your 30s, you have 25 years to retirement. Just by keeping at 50k every month, you would have 15 million. Now, the truth about it is, first of all, consider the fact that as you grow in your career, this ability to save is bound to grow because your earnings will definitely grow, right? So this is the minimum you would have at retirement. It might not sound grand to someone who can afford to save 500k, but let's plug in 500k right now and see what that comes to in 25 years. 150 million. That sounds amazing, right? So say you start with 50k, right? You decide to start today with 50k and you are just targeting, let's say 10 years, right? Your total savings will be 6 million, right? So you start with 50k. At the end of the first year, you would have your 600k waiting for you, right? And then you invest it at an assumed rate of, let's say, 5%. So after the first year of investing, you would have 600k times 5. It gives you 30k, additional 30k return. When you add that to your 600k, you will have 630k. Now say for the next year, remember that you are saving every year. You have your 630k from the previous year plus an additional 600k, right? And so you continue with that journey. Every year you add to what you are saving and you keep investing. And so what happens is it keeps increasing. So we're targeting 10 years. By the end of 10 years, you would have 7.9 million. Let me highlight that. 7.9 million compared to the 6 million that you would have had, right? Now, imagine if you had 25 years to retirement. 25 years, you would have saved 15 million, right? We established that earlier. But now, what would you have after 25 years? Oops. Just showing how big it is. After 25 years, you would have 30 million, slightly more than double the amount you would have had in terms of saving, right? Now, this highlights the point. The truth about it is that the benefits you are enjoying is the fact that you are reinvesting your principal and your interest plus the additional cash every single year. That is what compounding is. You need to keep building on, and this is the value of time when it comes to investing, which is why we always advise wherever you are, start now. Think about retirement at 60. If you are still in your 30s, then you have about 30 years to go, right? And even if it's just 50k that you have, start. The likelihood that it's going to increase is very high, but you have to start. And you can do the simulation at home by yourself. It's actually like basic math, right? And even if you change the simulation, like, it becomes more amazing as you go along the way. Let's do our 500k again. You should have saved 150 million, but in the same 25-year period, you would have double the amount that you would have saved, and it's at 5%. So don't despise low interest rates in themselves. There is still value. Then don't say there's no point, just leave it in your account. No, there is still a point. And number 7, you can't outsource your health and your finances. Think about it. You can't leave anybody to take your drugs on your behalf. You can't get anybody to take a shot and you'll be fine. Go to the hospital, you want to take some medication and say, take it for me, or I need to go to the gym and someone should do the exercising and I'll get fit. It doesn't work that way. It's the same thing with your finances, right? And so you need to engage. You actually have to figure out a way that works. You have to be intentional. You have to consider your net worth. You have to consider everything and start, right? It's very, very important for you to start. I trust this was useful. Don't forget to make your comments or ask any questions on what your challenges are around investing and putting your personal finances together, and I'll be sure to give you an answer as soon as possible. Thank you.